Hello friends, welcome to Coding Interviews channel. Hope you are doing great. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe. I have created bunch of playlists to cover various categories of problems such as breadth first search, depth first search, binary search, dynamic programming, greedy method, and so on. You will also find playlists to cover various basic data structure problems such as stacks, queues, linked lists, trees, graphs, and so on. Today's problem is random pick index. Given an array of integers with possible duplicates, randomly output the index of given target number. You can assume that the given target number must exist in the array. So basically we are given with a set of integers and there are duplicates. So that's what the information given, and we have to output the index of the given target number, right? So there are duplicates, it said, and we are supposed to return the index of the given target number. And since there are duplicates, the target numbers are multiple. That means a single number will appear at multiple places, right? So that's what the thing is. So since there are duplicates, the number could appear in multiple different places. So when you pick the random index for a given target number, right, you should give the indexes of those target numbers also in a random manner, right? So basically, so let's try to understand with an example, right? So I took the example, the numbers from the array from the example given here. So 1 2 3 3 3, right? So that means, so number 1 has, it is appearing only one time, right, in this array at index 0, right? Number 2 is appearing at index 1. Number 3 is appearing multiple times. How many times? 3 times it is appearing at index 2, 3 and 4, right? So if your target number is 1, right, so we are asked to write the function pick, right? So pick is the function. So when you say pick 1, right, all you have is just one choice, right? That means you have to return 0 no matter what, right? When you are asked to pick 2, even 2 also has just one choice, right? Just return 1, that's it, because there is not much that we can do, because there is only one of that number available in the given array as far as the example 1 is considered, right? And when you have 3, you have 3 choices, 2 3 4, but which one to pick is the question, right? So the array, the index 2 or index 3 or index 4. But and also if the pick 3 is called multiple times, let's say pick 3, right, so what to return, and pick 3 what to return, right, and more, pick 3, right, what to return, right? So obviously on all these occasions, if you return just 2, right, 2 2 2, right, that is not actually quite random, right? So we want to return 2 3 and 4, all of them randomly. We can't just stick to just one thing, right? That's not going to be a random pick index. That will be just probably a pick index, right? So we have to return sometimes 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, right? So if you are called pick 3, let's say 2 times, right, 3 times, let's say, at this time you need to return 2, probably 3, probably 4, something like that. So we need to add some kind of randomness to it, right? So what we can do is we will look at like two different approaches here, right? So now what we are going to do is we will initialize something like a start with 0, right? So this 0 is referring to this array. This array is the array where 3 is present, like the indexes array. This is not presenting, this is not about these things, right? So in that particular case, when pick 3 is called, the start is initialized, I would return 2 first and pick 3, right? So return 2, then increment the start. So start will become 1, right? So when pick3 is called again, pick3 is called again, return 3, right? So that's what the next element, right? So first we return 2 and now we are returning 3, right? Good. And what we do, increment start again, right? Increment start, that means start becomes 2, right? And now I am calling pick3 again, right? So in that case, what should it return? Return 4, right? And increment start, right? So now start becomes 3, right? So now if I call pick3, what happens or what should happen, right? So at index, do I have actually index 3? No, this is index 0, it is index 1, index 2, right? So remember, when I am calling pick3, I am not referring to the original array indexes. I am referring to only these indexes in the sub array where I framed this kind of mapping, right? 2, 3, 4 for 3, so for pick3. So now this doesn't have an index 3. What is the index I have maximum? Is 0, 1, 2. So when index is greater than the count, right? What we are going to do is reset index, basically reset start. That means start becomes 0 and return 2 and then increment start, right? So that means start will become 1. So this is not entirely random per se when we are getting it from here, but it is creating sort of randomness, right? So it is so happened that 1, 2, 3, 3, 3 are there right here. I mean all the 3's are next to each other. So let's change our example a bit, right? So let's say 3. It's same as our original array, but I'm going to change it. So 2 occurred at 1, but 1 occurred at what? That is 3, right? And this is 2 occurred at 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So this will be 0 and 2, 4, right? So now when we are supposed to return, in this case start is equal to 0, right? That means we will return 0 here, right? And we will return 2 here and we will return 4 here, right? So likewise, and then we come back here, we will return 0 likewise, right? So in this case we are trying to do a round robin, right? It's not exactly a true randomness, but even in the round robin also all of them have equal probability, right? So you are trying to do a round robin. So you keep track of what was the element that you returned last time and then you keep incrementing. So this is one approach, right? So this is actually one of the very good approaches, and this I'm calling this as a round robin based randomness, right? And let's look at second approach, right? Second approach. So first approach was round robin. We will look into the second approach. So now we know that 3 has these 3 indices, right? So 0, 2 and 4, right? 3 is at 0, 2 and 4. So the corresponding indexes in this particular array are 0, 1, 2, right? Good. Now go back. What we are going to do is we generate a random number between 0 and length of this array, I'm calling this as RR, okay? Now we generated that random number, whatever it could be, right? So between 0 to 2, let's say 1 is our random number, right? So let me write it here. So this generates, let's say 1. So that means whatever there at the index 1 we are supposed to return. What is there at index 1? 0 2 4. That means 2 is what we need to return, right? So that means return 2, right? So now if we call pick 3 again, what we need to return? So we have already returned 2, right? So we next time we need to choose between 0 and 4, right? What is the best way to do, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to swap that 2 with the start element. So that means 2 will be taken and put into 0, right? So the array will be transformed to 2 0 4, right? So now what we are going to do is we will generate a random number between 1 and length of the array. So what we are going to do is we are going to generate a random number between 1 and length of the array, because we already returned 2 ones, right? So now we will generate a random number between these two, that's it, and proceed further. So that process we will keep on repeating. So here what we are doing is we are adding a sort of randomness to it, but once we exhaust, once initially we did 0 and now we are doing 1, and next pick call we will do 2. Whenever we reach the last index, right, we will reset, just like the we were resetting in the previous approach, right? We will reset in the same way. We will reset and start from 0 to the length, and 1 to length, and 2 to length, 3 to length, like that. So when it is equal to length, we will reset, we will come back to 0 and we will proceed. So we are adding a sort of randomness to it, but also we are satisfying the condition that we needed, which is equal probability, right? So when there were 3 elements, we generated equally and we swapped with that, right? And now we are 2 elements down to, we will take one of them, we swap that, and we will have only one element, we will swap that, and finally once we exhaust, right, we will reset. Then at that point in time we will consider all 3, and then go from there. If pick of 3 has been called that many number of times, right? So we are going to look at the code for both these approaches for the pick method, right? So let's go look into the code for this problem. It exactly follows what we have been discussing so far, right? So we are going to follow exactly what we discussed so far. So coming down to the code, so as I framed the map, right? So here in this example, I came up with these things, right? Element and corresponding indices. So for this, in order to store this, we need a map, right? In order to store this, we need a map. So I am going to create a map, so exactly that one. So the map, I have declared a placeholder class to hold that information. So the map will have couple of different things. So integer will be the integer where it is, and I have created a class called node which keeps track of the indices of that particular integer. So wherever it appeared, right? So this will have the integer is about the content of the input, and node will have all the different occurrences of that particular integer. So we will look at the node class very soon, and what we are going to do is, as part of the constructor, we will take those numbers and fill in the map. Okay, we take those number and fill in the map, right? So that's what we are doing in the constructor. And so before going to the pick class, right, we are going to go through the node class, because pick class I made it purposefully to be a single liner, right? So majority of the code that I have is in the node class. Okay, so pick class, pick method is just one line, not much, right? So let's go to the node class where I have all that logic in it. So in the node class, the initialization is, the start is basically the index of the start, right? And indices is where all those indices have occurred for that particular element, and rand is a rand method, right? So now when you add elements, you just add those indices, but this is where I have two implementations. So get and get random, right? So get, let's go look at the get. This method is going to give you the index, right, by round robin. So this is what is round robin based. So if start is greater than the indices count, we are resetting the start, right? Otherwise, we just get the whatever there is the start and return that particular value, right? So this is as good as just we discussed in the round robin fashion, right? We initialize the start pointer and we keep on incrementing until we reach the end of the indices, right? So this is a simple round robin, right? This is not very big method. And now coming back to the randomness. So we are adding the randomness to it. So now, so even in the randomness also we are resetting once the start becomes greater than the indices. But there is one extra thing that we are doing. What is that? We are calculating the random number just like we were calculating it in the concept, right? So what we are doing the calculation of the random number between 0 and length of the array, right? So similarly, I am calling the 0 as start here because start is 0, and indices dot count, that is the length of the array, right? So whatever that index is, I am doing it. That I am storing in the temporary variable and doing the swapping here. So finally, whatever it is stored in the temporary variable, I am returning. So these three steps will take care of the swapping, right? And then we increment the start. So just similar to the concept that we discussed, right? So we change that and we return that and we update the array. So in this particular case, our random number was 1. We swapped it, then the array became 204. For the next call, we were generating the random number from 1 as opposed to 0, right? So this 1, 0 and all being tracked by the start, right? So these two are different methods. So whichever you want to call as part of the pick function, right? So it could be map of target dot get random or map of target dot get, whatever that is. So we will call it as get round robin, right? So that also will work, right? So these are the two different approaches. So if return map of target dot round robin, so you could use any of them. So for now I comment one of them and use the other one, right? So get random is the one which I am using. So these are the two approaches, any of them would work for you. So now let's go ahead and look at the time and space complexity for them, right? So time and space, right? So since we have two things, right? So two things means we have a constructor, right? Solution constructor is there and a pick is there. So what we are going to do is the time complexity we are going to give it individually, okay? So we are not going to give it for the whole class, but we will give it how much time complexity for the constructor and how much time complexity for the pick method, constructor and pick. So constructor. So before that, let's call n is length of input, right? We will call because it is an array of integers, right? That's what we said, right? So n is length of the input, we will say. And constructor, how much time it's going to take. So we are having one for loop here to initialize the map. So that means constructor is going to take order of n time, right? Because order of n is the length of the input, right? And now go to pick. Now, so pick, majority of the logic is there in the node class that we said, right? So get random is the method that we are going to look. So how much time the get random is going to take in order to give the answer, right? So in this particular case, where are we spending much time? So we get the random number and we do the swapping and return. So this is almost the constant time that we would say, right? So this is almost a constant time for the get random. So that means the overall time complexity for pick will be also constant, right? So we will say order of pick is going to take constant time, right? So this is for the what? Get random. So let's look at the get round robin, right? Let's see if it is taking any more than the constant time. So round robin is also, yeah, it is also taking almost the constant time, right? So both get random or get round robin, both of them are taking constant time. So that means whichever the method that you use as part of the pick, it should take the constant amount of time. So literally or practically the random would take more time because we are generating the random number and we are doing the swapping also, right? So that's the reason why technically get random will be slower than get round robin technically, right? Because it has more operations to do, it has less operations to do. But since we are talking about the big O notation time complexity, both of them will be order of 1, right? So that is a theoretical time complexity. So now let's go ahead and look at the space complexity. So for this, since we are declaring the space which is common to the class, we won't be talking about the space complexity individually, but space complexity on the whole for the class that we will talk, right? So what is the time complexity that we are, space complexity that we are using? We are using the map. So how many elements are there in the map? Obviously, the total number of elements will be, if they are all distinct, right, then the worst case time complexity will be also order of n, right, if they are distinct. But we were given in the description saying there were duplicates also. So the space complexity will be less than order of n because there are duplicates. If a particular input doesn't have duplicates, then obviously it will take order of n space, right? So the total time complexity we said differently for different methods, but space complexity is common since they are acting upon the same variables and etc. So we will say the space complexity is order of n on the whole because all of them are being used by both methods. So solution constructor is filling and pick is the method which is using it. That's why the space complexity is order of n for this particular example, right? Okay. If you have any further questions, please post them in the comment section below this video. I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe and share among your friends as much as you can. I have uploaded the code for this particular problem to the GitHub repository. You can get the link from the description section of this video. Thank you for watching. I will be back with another problem very soon. Till then, stay safe and goodbye.